Did you see that we had to cancel a show due to coronavirus in Perth? A confirmed case in the venue. Doing it felt intense, but I kind of spoke to my wife. That's what she wanted me to do. It's an intense business, isn't it? This coronavirus. The more I'm learning about it, I think I was being a bit glib about it initially because it's not, excuse me, it's Joe Rogan's podcast. In fact, I wanted to quote this dude, Michael Osterholm. Michael Osterholm, who's on Joe Rogan's podcast, he says, like it sort of the amount of people infected in infected areas doubles every 4 days. That's about often they speculate how long it shows for symptoms to be revealed, and a lot of people think it's just going to roll out globally. With regard to the panic, I suppose panic is never helpful. In a way, it's a reminder that we're all interconnected, isn't it? That we're contacting each other, we're touching one another. It's and it's also a very ancient thing. Like the handshake and touch, these signals we send each other that we're okay. Disease from an outsider, the risk of us being infected by someone we don't know. This is the origins, I speculate, and anthropologists do more importantly, to the beginnings of suspicion of strangers. Prejudice of the other all comes, as an evolutionary behavior to prevent us from getting disease. Your kin are okay, outside of your kin it's risky. I thought, oh, well, this isn't something that's going to affect young people, which is sort of selfish. Obviously, I know loads of people that are older. The people I love most in the world, qualify for that, qualify for people with underlying conditions that would mean they would be at risk, like, older relatives and stuff. And yeah, I feel like it's curious being a person that's at the moment traveling the world, touring, doing live shows, touching people. I'm very kind of like, people cuddle me, we're touching one another. I had to knock that on the head, I think, because I think it's a time of like circumspection. I suppose like panic is never particularly helpful in any situation. What I'm going to be doing personally is being mindful and connected and considering the way that I interact with people. Perhaps something like this can remind us that whilst we live in imaginary, because one of the biggest consequences are all of like the stock market crashes, what it's doing to the economy, and the revelation that loads of resources are kept in other countries. That dude Michael Osterholm is brilliant. You should definitely watch that podcast. Said like that loads of renal medicine, kidney medicine comes from China. Loads of vital meds come from China, and supply chains are cut. We are interconnected, but primarily dominated by economic systems. And something happens from nature, and though of course there are some people speculate that it might not be entirely natural, but I don't know where on the spectrum or scale of cookiness those arguments come from. But regardless, we are vulnerable, we are impermanent, we can be exposed to new transformational events. Look how quickly things are reordered. What about when there is a shortage, when there are panic buys? So you're reminded, hold on a minute, I've been taking my life and my identity seriously. My priorities have been all wrong. What matters to me is my family, the people I care about, the people I love. If we can take anything positive from this, and I'm pretty bloody far from an expert on what to do about the practical, rational, sociological sides of an epidemic. But what if we can take anything positive? I think it's a reminder that so many things we believe are permanent are in fact constructs, whether that's the nation state, capitalism, financial transactions. They may be reflections of tribalism, bartering and cooperation and social instincts, but they are constructs. So many of them don't work for people. I wonder what we will learn from coronavirus about who is most susceptible, who is most exposed. Intriguingly, I suppose initially people that travel a lot, privileged people, and I obviously include myself in that, privileged people that are traveling a lot are likely to be early carriers. But as always, the people that suffer most are the people with the least access to resources. And in countries with privatized healthcare, it's going to be heavy as fuck. My personal take on it is it's a reminder that reality lies below the surface. The deepest realities cannot be seen. Microbiology can at any point alter the game, and that's what's happening even beneath that, held in fields of invisible energy. So I suppose, wash your hands, be sensible, but significantly remember how often we live in concepts and constructs that are not real and are not beneficial.